Brother Faubert, thanks for coming on. This is a candid little episode. It's going to be short and sweet. Nationals is 2 weeks away. I'm guessing you're excited.
Yes, it's always a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Just a lot of work yet to be done. So.
How do you prepare, like physically? Because you stand for days and you just hydrate and.
I just show up and do it. I don't know. God's gracious. I don't know.
Well, I'm excited today because you agreed to do this, and 2 weeks away from Nationals, I wanted to keep it light and have something as a way for people to get to know you a little bit better, and maybe we can have a little fun while we do it.
Sure.
Okay. So the first question that I have for you, we're going to go through some favorites.
Okay.
All right. So what is your favorite way to relax?
Ooh. I like to read. I probably don't relax as much as I should. Yeah.
What's your picture perfect?
I'm sort of a history junkie, so I like to watch like documentaries, historical stuff like that.
Interesting.
Like even. I'm a bit of a geek when it comes like Antiques Roadshow or something like that. I don't.
That's great.
Weird, yeah.
What is your favorite book? You say you like to read. What's something? You can't say the Bible. That's cheating.
Well, okay. Other than the Bible.
Yes. Other than.
It's been so long since I've read anything but nonfiction. I read a lot of leadership development books. I just gave a book to my son Ryland for his graduation, just a small book called Secrets of the Vine by Bruce Wilkerson. It was a book that really impacted me in my sort of mid-20s, and so I was trying to give it to him in advance of that, get a sort of jump on where I was in life. But that was just a recent book that I had in my hand that just reflecting on how much I enjoyed it. Still pertains to my life. I'm still trying to apply it. Yeah.
Awesome. What is your favorite holiday?
Christmas, I guess.
Sure. Yes, that's presents and Jesus being born.
Well, I think like the holidays really start after Thanksgiving.
Right.
So you've got this long sort of holiday period that tends to be more restful than any other time of the year.
Well, you're used to Canada Christmases, which I can imagine are quite they're real Christmases.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. The 3.5 years we lived in Florida, it was a little surreal.
Right.
Because they celebrated Christmas like it was Vermont, but without any snow, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that adjustment was strange. What is your favorite fast food chain? If you you're hungry, you got to grab something quick. Where you go?
I'm really not partial. I don't really do McDonald's much anymore.
Good choice.
Arby's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah.
Roast beef. What do you get?
Whatever's special. I like trying new sandwiches, like whatever. Like Wendy's will sometimes have like different specialty sandwiches. I'll try one of those.
Gotcha. Okay. What was your favorite subject in school?
Oh, I was more of a social sciences kind of guy. I like history, geography, English.
I imagined English.
Kind of a grammar geek. Yeah.
That fits.
I liked math up until I hit like trigonometry and calculus, and I'm like, okay, I think this has run its course.
Right.
Yeah.
Like how many people actually use that on a semi-regular basis in life?
Yeah, unless you're an engineer, I don't know.
Right. I mean, I think it's important for us to learn it, but it's not for everyone.
Well, the jury's out of my mind, but anyway. No, I'm not kidding.
Who is your favorite biblical author?
You mean
the writer of books of the Bible? Like, there's a lot of different writers. So, who are you more partial to? Enjoy the writings of?
I enjoy the Book of James. I enjoy the Book of Jude. It's short, but it's punchy. James doesn't tend to pull any punches either. I tend to teach and preach a lot from the Old Testament, so I enjoy Old Testament books and stories.
Isaiah.
No, well,
No?
yeah, not so much. I would say from the prophets. I attend a lot from Judges. Gideon's one of my favorite characters. Joshua, a lot from the Kings as well. There's an incredible mix through Judges and then First, Second Kings, and it's kind of like a soap opera. I mean, through those periods. I mean, you got good and bad, and there's a lot to draw from.
Interesting. Okay, and this one's kind of broad and I guess cheesy, but what is your favorite thing about Bible quizzing? Just, I guess, your favorite part about it.
Well, from sort of let's take it from sort of a nuts and bolts standpoint, and then we'll speak to the bigger picture. I enjoy writing questions. It's really a time where I can dig into understanding the verses of the material. It's time spent with God, just like when I was a quizzer. I spend that time, and I've received such revelation through those times. Bigger picture when it comes to actually just interacting with young people and being able to minister on that sort of personal level that the ministry affords. It's hard to trade that for anything else.
Right. I could see why that would be your favorite. My favorite part is just the reward of seeing them accomplish goals, seeing them overcome things that they couldn't before, and through just growing up and learning that they just achieved so much. There's nothing more rewarding in my life than maybe raising kids, in church. But
yeah. Well, and it's not that much different. Many of the rules still apply.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I would agree. All right. Now we're going to kind of switch a little bit. So this is kind of more of how to get to know you in a different area. So how long does it take you to get ready in the morning?
Well, it really depends. If I have the time, I will take the time to sort of ease into the day. But if not, I could probably get myself ready in 20 minutes or less.
And that's like, alarm doesn't go off and you wake up and you're late. Takes you 20 minutes to get out the door?
Yeah. But typically, I don't set a hard alarm. I use a sleep cycle app that monitors my sleep, and then it sort of wakes me up within a 30-minute period. I don't know if that works for everybody, but it works for me, and I have found it beneficial.
My father uses some of this, and I've used it in the past. It is really nice to you wake up at a light sleep cycle.
That's right. When your body's already restless and you're moving around in it. And if my preference is to start the day. I typically, do my daily Bible reading with coffee in the morning, and most days I'm afforded that opportunity. It's very rare that I miss that for one reason or another.
Gotcha. That's good. This is a question from your daughter, and I think you know what to expect here, probably because it was spoiled. But
well, she certainly feels greater latitude than perhaps some others have.
Do you use shampoo or body wash for your head?
Shampoo. There may be less hair and it's very short, but it's hair nonetheless. So yes, shampoo.
If you don't get upset with me, I didn't come
I'm
up
not
with upset. Thank you, Taylor, for submitting your question. What's something that you're glad you did, but you would never do again? And you might need a little time. I understand it's kind of a tough question.
I mean, nothing's really coming to mind, quite frankly.
No?
No.
All right, then give us something that you've done once that you would recommend that everyone should do.
Ooh. That I've done only once?
Maybe not only once. We can broaden it out. What is something that
Well,
you would tell everyone they should do at least once?
I just got back from a missions trip that I was blessed to go on, and serve as a chaperone. I would certainly encourage folks to get outside their comfort zone. And we say that a lot, but being apart from, I mean, sometimes here in America, we think, that the entire world revolves around us, and there's a much larger world. And I think it expands our minds and grows our appreciation for other people, and increase our burden for souls, even when we can get out and see the rest of the world in action as well. So I would certainly recommend that. I've always felt that, but it's one thing to think it, it's another thing to be able to participate that way, definitely.
It seemed like the trip went really well.
It did. Yeah. It was a great blessing, and I trust that we were a blessing with the Morenos who serve as missionaries there in Athens. So
awesome. Sorry, lighter note. Again,
we're sure. We can go back and forth.
Do you love or hate roller coasters? Because there's no in between.
I enjoy roller coasters. Yes, definitely.
Which
not a roller coaster I haven't been on that I wouldn't, and I don't think there's one that they've made yet that I wouldn't try.
Really? So where do you enjoy going?
Well, I've ridden everything at like Walt Disney World and at Disneyland. I grew up in the Ontario district, and so we would go to the Canada's Wonderland. I don't know if it's still called that. It's outside Toronto. Rode those, but if you love roller coasters, Cedar Point has got more roller coasters per square foot than just about anywhere else in the country. That's in Sandusky, Ohio.
Sandusky, Ohio.
The roller coaster capital.
So, really?
Yes.
I didn't even know that. That's extra, folks.
They've got,
Well, that's awesome. I do love roller coasters, and unfortunately, my wife, every time we've gone to a park, she's been pregnant since we've been married, and we haven't gotten to really enjoy roller coasters together. So maybe soon.
Well, my wife does not enjoy roller coasters, and she'll go on some, but any of them ones with inversions, she doesn't like those at all.
Yeah, I don't necessarily love the wooden ones, especially the older. Because it's it does bring you closer to God.
They'll shake the teeth out of your head.
Yeah, it's a little scary, but they are enjoyable if you like to be frightful for your life.
Or they've got like the bungee cord that you wrap across your waist, like that's going to keep anybody in.
Maybe roller coaster trip soon. We'll see. I don't know about the wooden ones. What is your biggest pet peeve with modern technology?
Oh, modern technology. Better be careful here. I guess it's that people feel the liberty to say things because they're removed from somebody. Take Twitter, for example, or even Facebook, that people can go on and just spew stuff, share stuff that they would never do to somebody's face.
The anonymity of it.
That's right. Yeah. And even if it's not anonymous per se, you don't know this person, you don't, and there's no sort of face-to-face contact, and so you feel liberty to say stuff you've never. And we need to be definitely cautious as Christians and apostolics, because it's as if we're saying it live, and those words still hurt and cut, so that's probably my biggest pet peeve.
That's a good pet peeve. I agree 100%. How old would you be if you didn't know how old you were?
Well, right now I feel older than I am. And as they say, it's not the years, it's the mileage that counts. And I'm still fighting a bit of jet lag, so I'm feeling the mileage definitely. But I think even when I was a young person, I tended to be an older soul. I have a greater affinity for history yeah. So
I understand. I enjoyed that question. First time I heard that question, I was like, man, that's a fun question. Like if you woke up, and you didn't know how old you were, and someone asked you, and you had to give an answer, I'd probably say like 17. I get 17 a lot. I'm not 17. I just turned 29.
Do you feel 17?
Not physically anymore. I've lost a step or two. But I still feel like, especially when I hang out with my quizzers, I feel like I'm one of the teenagers just hanging out with
Yeah.
when your best friends are 17, your quizzers become your best friends. Yeah.
Well, I can attest that it takes a long time for that to wear off. And even when you're, as I am in my mid 40s, you kind of still think of yourself as significantly younger, despite how the body feels. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so this is a little nerdy. You're like nerdy. 2040, teleportation has been invented, and you have a door that you can set up in your house, and you have another door that you can get set up anywhere in the world, and you can instantly go between these two places as much as you want, but you only get one for the rest of your life. Where's the other side of the door?
I don't know where my kids live at that point.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Yeah. We relocated from the majority of our family that still lives in the Ottawa area there to the States. It's been over 15 years ago now. And, that old adage, you reap what you sow. And I suspect that having sown that I will reap it myself, and my kids will relocate at some point. And so wherever they are, that's where I'd likely teleport.
I understand. I understand. I left my parents, and they came chasing back as soon as we had kids, so they couldn't stay away, which I understand. They've been a huge help to us.
Yeah.
What song would you sing at karaoke night? You gotta pick a song.
Friends or Friends Forever.
Friends or Friends Forever.
I don't know. Shout out to Michael W. Smith. I still have Change Your World, that CD, in my car.
Really? Is he all-time fave?
I would say all-time fave. That was like a groundbreaking work. Right. It was 1992.
Right. This isn't on my list, but I mean, is there a certain artist you have a special?
That was not my favorite song on that CD, but if for karaoke, sure.
Yeah. Do you have a current artist now, or not a current artist, but someone that you kind of have an affinity for to jam to?
I'm not. I enjoy music. I'm not musically gifted, inclined myself, but I do like contemporary Christian music. Jordan Feliz, Toby Mac, Newsboys.
Do you like the worship groups like Hillsong and Jesus Culture?
I like Hillsong Young and Free.
Yeah.
Citizens Way.
Yeah. There's fun groups.
Yeah.
There's some fun stuff.
So there's, I find there's music that you can worship to, and many of the songs we've incorporated into our worship sets within our churches. But there's other songs that are not necessarily worshipful, but they're positive and they reinforce, Christian values generally.
Right.
So,
My daughter is all about that Wave Walker song right now. Just every day in the car. Wave Walker. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
It's not. I've been a little out of touch recently.
It's a newer song, and they that's what they like to jam to.
Probably right now. It rings a bell, but I couldn't.
I
sing along.
Nailed it when I sang it.
Oh.
Yeah, I nailed it. So if you knew it, you would have got it. This is probably more of a question for your wife, but we'll see if you.
I can answer for
her. If you had a warning label, what would it say?
A warning label. Yeah, that definitely a better question for her.
I think she would be very honest.
I've said that I tend to have a fairly mellow, diplomatic, retiring temperament, and I've got a especially long fuse. It, I mean, to if I were to confess, it's probably attached to like a thermonuclear device on the other end. But my wife knows, and I've said this publicly before, my wife knows all the shortcut codes to go directly to detonation.
I think all wives do, though. Well, no, you know, I know my wife does.
Well, and we probably don't cut each other as much slack as we should, quite frankly. But
we're all growing and learning to live with each other because you can't live without them.
I have become better in that regard.
Well, so it would say thermonuclear device. You know,
yes,
don't burn the fuse.
Upon detonation, take cover. Yeah.
Oh goodness! All right. Switching a little bit. This is, I guess, a little more serious, less light, but not heavy at all, because we're not going to do that here today. But what would you tell your teenage self if you could go back? What advice would you? And you probably it's probably easy for you because you have Ryland right there. You know, because the advice you give him. So
I would say establish the daily routine of prayer and devotion with God as early as possible. And I think in my time personally and in working with young people, I've been involved in youth ministry since I was, quite frankly, a young person myself. I was 19, 20 when I began. And that, I think, is one of the key things that is so difficult to establish, that daily, consistent devotion time, prioritizing prayer. If the sooner you can get that established in your life, everything else will then fall out from that. You've got to have your priority with God first, and your family, and then work and ministry, will all flow if you've got first things first.
That's great advice. What is a goal that you're working toward now, currently? You seem like you would have kind of goals. Are you goal-oriented yourself?
I probably don't. I can't say that I have a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan in place. I think it's walking by faith. I would like to, I think, but my experience tells me that when you walk by faith, as much as you want to plan, that it's not going to happen. Not that those things aren't bad, but I tend to work on goals probably on a year by year basis. And right now, my goal is nationals. I mean, I've got to focus on, with 2 weeks away, I've really got to focus on that and get it done. And when I get home from Nationals and Youth Congress, then the next thing.
Next goal. Yeah, I feel like I live, it's like you live event to event in life, and that's when life starts really going by fast. When you stop living day to day and even week to week, you start living like event to event to event, and it's just flies. Time just flies.
I do try to resist that as much as possible, because I don't think it's healthy to live an event-driven life, and sometimes even within our churches, we can fall into sort of an event-driven church schedule. And when we do that, we sort of do that at the expense of establishing, as I said, that daily individual initiative, personal walk with God. We're just counting on the next church service or the next event, whatever, to sort of, lift us up and propel us forward. And again, those have their place and they're necessary. But so for the most part, I try to resist that. But there's just sometimes like nationals, it's a biggie.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
What absorbs my focus. Yeah.
Is that that's probably your biggest thing you do every year, right? The biggest event you have every year.
It's probably got the most moving parts, and it's not just me. There's a team of individuals that the youth executives are wonderful supporters of the ministry, and the staff there at headquarters as well. And so I don't want to say it's just me, but I feel the weight of the culmination of the quiz season at this point. And the fact that we have an opportunity to truly impact lives. And I recognize that when I was a quizzer, extravaganzas and nationals were huge impacts and touchstones in my life. And I want to carry that forward into the lives of those quizzers who will be there. So, yeah.
All right. When you get to heaven, who are you looking forward to most to talk to? And what questions?
Other than Jesus.
Other than Jesus. Oh, no, you can even Jesus. Yeah, obviously Jesus. But I'm sure you have some words to exchange with Paul.
Oh.
Or
Yeah. I know.
But, or a question about the universe or something like biblical. Like what really, just do you have any of those kinds of questions that you're excited to ask one day?
Questions will pop into my mind. I'll think, you know what? That's something that I will understand on the other side and I'll know the answer to. And I just trust that I won't have to remember it now because I'll remember it then. So yes, it comes to mind rather often. Oh, I'm going to like this. And again, sort of the missing pieces of history that we don't know about and why this or how did that shake out. I don't know that it'll really matter in the big picture at the end.
Once we get there.
Yeah, once time ceases. But yeah, those things come up. But I don't know. I almost forget them as soon as I think of them, quite frankly.
Is there a biblical person or apostle or anybody that you would, the first one that you would want to seek out to talk to? Maybe. Gideon, maybe.
I do. I've preached a lot from Gideon and his life. I seem to resonate. He resonates with me a little more than perhaps some other biblical figures. But I'm intrigued by those sort of underdog characters or the guys in the Bible that are not even named. Those sort of interest me. Some of these other big heroes of faith I enjoy, but they've gotten a lot of traction over the years. So I don't know.
I've heard it a lot.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk to the underdog?
Yeah. The no names there in the Bibles,
You want to find out their names, right? So this is the last question I have written down. But did you choose Bible quizzing or did Bible quizzing choose you? You're the national quiz director. Is that something that you think is that something that chose you, or is that something that you just have had a passion for and you pursued? I don't, you understand the question?
Well, I was 9 years old, just before my 10th birthday, when we began attending the church, my dad, my younger brother and I. And during the next year, so after my 10th birthday, the next year, I saw Bible quizzing for the first time. It was actually on a Wednesday night. It was demonstrated at church. And I was immediately interested. The competitor within me thought, okay, I like competition. And I like to win. So I thought, and it was something to which I felt I could apply my mind and do well at. Having said that, I learned quickly the following year when I quizzed, my one and only year in junior quizzing that I was eligible, that it is a leveler in many respects. And it's not a matter of how smart you are, but how disciplined you are. So in that respect, I think I chose quizzing initially, but it reached a point. So I was 11 juniors, but by the time I was 16, and many times that there's a physical maturation that occurs in the lives of young men and women, 12 or 13, some younger, give or take a year. there's a mental maturation that occurs at around 16 years old. And at that point, there was a transition in my life. And I came home from nationals in 1988 and saying, I'm going to apply myself these last 3 years that I'm eligible like I've not applied myself before. And in that respect, I really felt drawn to the ministry more than I had previously. Yeah. And it's grown from there. You mentioned now that I'm the director. I didn't seek the role. It was not something that I set out or planned to do. And so in that respect, it's just sort of came to me. I just wanted to make myself available and serve young people as best I could through this ministry and to give back all that the ministry had given into my life. So,
well, yeah. That's a great way to close it up.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Do you have any advice 2 weeks away? Are there any Quizzers coaches watching? Any just encouragement?
Well, if
you guys got another hour, folks?
Yeah. If you've qualified for nationals, then you've already worked hard all year, and don't slack off now. Sometimes, though, at the same time, we think, well, if I just put the pedal to the metal, and there's only so much, I guess. You don't want to burn out your engine down the road. And ultimately, I referenced that book earlier about the secrets of the vine. It's drawn from John 15. And there's a point where you reach in the development that you bring forth the much fruit when you actually rest. And that it's no longer you doing nearly as much work as you are, but God doing the work through you. And that's a huge principle in life, but it can definitely be learned through Bible quizzing as well. And while I'm looking forward to incredible quizzing, I'm looking forward to wonderful moves of God during our devotions as well. And I think it all works together to accomplish what God is going to work in the lives of all these quizzers and coaches and families.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. It's really exciting to get to talk to you before nationals. I know I'm probably not going to get to talk to you much at nationals, and you're probably going to need about a month to relax afterwards. But
I'll try to take at least a couple of weeks to decompress. It's kind of like the bends. If you come up too quickly, you're going to get but I'll try to decompress.
Well, in the future, I'd love to have you on to talk more quizzing, focused, really, dig into maybe some things that would be a lot of fun for people to talk about. But
sure.
Let's get past nationals and have a wonderful time there.
Yes,
so,
agreed.
Thank you all for watching. Really excited to get this up. We're at TOC in Illinois right now. So tomorrow we got a day of quizzing. Great teams here. Really excited to see what happens. And really appreciate all of your support. And you guys have a good one.
Bye.